Hi guys, welcome back. It's LSP. It's currently the 15th of February 2021. Welcome back to episode 13. So we're going to do our usual run through. It's Monday, markets are moving nicely. A lot of the things that we've already discussed over the look ahead and some of the episodes last week are starting to unfold nicely, which I'll go through now. I'll do a quick overview of the lesson on Euro JPY at the end. As usual, so stick around for that. So let's get started. Euro USD, as I said last week, got a nice little drop and a reversal here, or an indication that it still wants to go higher. So this has become our focal point, but it has effectively just eased off, and a lot more movements happened in the pound currency. So it seems like the pound is the front runner at the minute. So that's where our focus is going to be for the remainder of the week. So for now, we're just going to kind of bypass Euro USD. We're going to monitor it, obviously, but we're just going to kind of bypass it for now. The pound USD, as I said, I want it to start accelerating. We had a really nice push, okay, and it's continuing here nicely. And I want it to come up into this area. Now, I did say, of the two, pound USD and pound Japanese yen, the pound USD is one that I may consider taking along, running into this area here before considering a fade, i.e. a short, as it runs into this area, and then considering a short. Whereas on the pound Japanese yen, I wouldn't be considering running into that level as a long. When we get to that chart, I'm only considering a fade. But right on cue, right on cue. The more it starts to accelerate, it's getting closer to this level now. So it seems like it wants to start to reach for that liquidity up here. So hopefully it starts to continue that acceleration. Like I said, there's some pretty decent news coming out this week. So hopefully that's going to, push the pound currencies a little bit more aggressively, get some volatility. It really runs up there, sort of towards the later end of the week, maybe sort of Wednesday, Thursday, for a nice little fade. And if there's anything that I can pick up maybe tomorrow as a run up in there, that'd be great. But we'll see during the London session, and obviously I'll go through that as normal if there's a trade there. Pound Japanese yen is, again, I've been saying what I want to see, and it seems to be unfolding quite nicely. This up here is the area that I'm expecting price to want to go to, and it would be really nice now if it just really starts to take off. And if it capitulates up here, that's just going to be the perfect scenario. In the capitulation I'm talking about, or if you don't know what capitulation is, or parabolic moves, or climactics as we used to call them back then, is basically price just going vertical. If you want to know what I'm talking about, just go and look at Bitcoin. You just go and look at Bitcoin on a weekly chart. You'll see what I'm talking about. It's like this, and then it's this, and then it's this, and then it's just all the way up here. It's just that's what I'm talking about. Right at the top, capitulation. Then that last part needs to be up here, and then you take the fade. So we'll see. Right on cue so far. Pound Aussie dollar. Not much going on with this. Just got to leave it alone until it starts to fade lower. But so far it just seems to want to go sideways. I've already looked at USD Japanese yen. There's nothing happening. I will zoom in just a little because it may. Oh, it's already on there. It may just pop a little. So there may be something there just to clean up some of this stuff, some of the liquidity in this area up here. But it's not one that I'm overly excited about. USD CAD, again, as I mentioned last week, this week may be the one, or maybe the week that we take something on the USD CAD. And again, guys, look, I don't want to, obviously bang on about how I'm great or anything silly like that. But I do mention this stuff, and I try to be as clear and as concise as I can. And as specific as I can be. And I mentioned, obviously we bypassed USD CAD for quite a few episodes, and then it piqued my attention. And then obviously I zoomed in a little bit and I was saying, if it starts to accelerate to the downside and it starts to show indications that it wants to go down, here is probably where it's going to want to go. And you can see it's just starting to do that now. So, this week may be the week for this. I'm starting to see the clues that this is going to want to go lower. And there may be something there. So, effectively, it's the pound USD, pound Japanese yen, and the USD CAD. There's going to be something there on one of these pairs, as a quick scalp, or maybe a 30 or 40 pip trade. It just depends on which one sets up the way that I personally like to trade. So we'll see how we go. Gold, a little bit of a dip on gold today, 1818. Again, want to see it at 1775. Sorry, 1750. So we're just going to wait and see. Silver, a little bit of a pop today. Nothing spectacular. It's up about 1.2%. But again, need to see a nice pop, until it gets back above this high. But we'll know. When I see what I want to see on silver, it's going to be obvious to all of us. So, when it happens, we'll know. So going over to the euro, Japanese yen, for our lesson, and I'll try and get through this as quickly as I can. So last week I just kind of went through some basic ideas, and the idea was to kind of just get you familiar with some things. And this week, what I want to talk about and discuss is the idea that when we're focused on trying to figure out where do we get in, because when I was talking last week, I went through the euro Japanese yen, and I was talking about certain things, and you only have to go back and listen to what I was discussing. And I was saying, I actually said something very specific about euro Japanese yen, in the hopes that somebody would pick it up. And obviously I will never know this. I'm just going based on the hope that somebody picks these things up and learns from them. But I was hoping that somebody would pick up the fact that I said, based on all the things that I went through last week, if the euro Japanese yen pops outside of this range and breaks out, it's likely to continue going. I said, I didn't say it's going to come back in. I said it's likely to continue going. Okay. Now the question is why. It's very easy to make these assumptions and to say, well, this is going to happen or that's going to happen, and you can be right a few times, but to do that consistently for months and months and years requires experience. Okay, you have to be able to experience the market. You have to be able to, trade consistently over time and make that work. And the only way to do that is to accumulate experiential knowledge in the marketplace, to accumulate screen time. Okay, so this week, because we've effectively got our targets, because we know, we kind of know really, where the euro Japanese yen's probably going to end up. Okay, the question that I pose to you all is this. Okay, we've had a slight breakout. It looks like it's going to continue. We've got a target up here. We've mapped something out. So where do we go from here? What do we do with this information? Okay, so now we're going to start to build this idea, this kind of framework of, we have this analysis. We've had this kind of full week of, we've been watching, euro Japanese yen. We've done a few lessons. We've kind of, deduced a few things. We're not really sure one way or another, but we've had a little bit of confirmation now that what we were discussing loosely last week, in a basic way, is kind of unfolding, and we have this idea up here now that price could potentially be coming up here, and we've broken out of this consolidation, and we know that we've had a nice shift here, and price is continuing to go higher after this point. Okay, so what do we do with this information? For me, what I like to do, I don't just take this at face value. You look at all of this analysis and you say, okay, this is brilliant, but I need to be able to get into the groove of the market and get into the groove of this particular pair in a way that makes sense to me. In a way that I, as a trader, like to engage in the market, in a way that I like to engage in the market Sorry guys, I've just got a reminder. In a way that I like to engage in the market, you know, that works for my personal risk model. Okay, so what I do with the basics that I've got here, this target and everything else that I've just discussed, is I look at the daily and I say to myself, okay, look, you know, we've got this nice breakout now. First things first is what I want to see. I want to see price hold. Yeah, I want to see price hold up here. And I want today to finish strong. Yeah, because then I have a full day of structure to work with. Yeah, which we can break down on the hourly chart. Yeah, which I'll do tomorrow. I'm not going to do it today because the video is going to drag on. But the structure we can break down. So if today finishes nice and strong, we know that it's a nice breakout. It's confirmed by these 2 points here. Okay, it's confirmed by the previous area that we noted previously on the chart. You know, with that other big, the big shift. So we want, number one, price to finish strong today. That confirms the breakout. It doesn't mean that it's going to stay like that, but it means that we have something to work with. So when we drop down to the hourly chart and we look at our hourly chart, okay, we have some structure to work with. Yeah, so we have the previous week, you know, and we have today. So we have some nice structure to work with, and we can kind of start to map out some ideas based on what we're seeing, based on how prices, and I'm going to do this very, very quick, based on how prices popped here, for example, dropped and then dropped again, rebalanced, came up, it popped, but before it did, it accumulated just there, taking out this low, picks up some more liquidity, then it comes down to pick up more liquidity, it pops, consolidates, drops just there to clear out everybody just here. Okay, a really nice reversal, very shallow pullback, and then bang. Yeah, so effectively it's a fractal of the larger fractal that we were seeing on the daily, which we're now seeing on the hourly chart. And you can see that structure on the hourly chart. And I know it may seem like I'm rambling a little bit, but this is all going to become clear when we start to look at this idea throughout this week and we start to map out some ideas as price is hopefully pushing towards this upper level here, which is where I believe price is going to be going on the Euro USD. The Euro Japanese yen. Okay, so I'm going to leave it at that, guys. As always, I hope the video finds everybody well, and I look forward to speaking to you guys in the next episode. I'll speak to you soon.